Are elections in India free and fair? The last 2 or 3 weeks we have focused on electoral bonds. Now we turn our attention to EVMs and VVPATs. The Supreme Court has issued a notice in a case which asked for all VVPATs to be counted. Joining me today is retired IS officer MG Devasahayam, who is also the coordinator of the Citizens Commission for Elections. You are one of the litigants who went to court. You had made several demands about the VVPAT. The VVPAT is basically the voter audit trail. For those unaware, when you go and cast your vote in the EVM machine, there is a machine next to it which is called the VVPAT. Once you cast a vote in the EVM, the VVPAT shows a slip which has the symbol of the party you voted for and the name of the candidate. Now, the problem is that when votes are eventually counted, only 5 VVPATs per assembly constituency is counted out of it. MG Devasahayam is one of the litigants. What is your reaction to the Supreme Court issuing a notice in one of the cases which has made several demands, including that all VVPATs should be counted?
See, this VVPAT litigation is a continuation of what happened in 2018 and 2019. The entire VVPAT exercise took place in 2017-2018. That's when the Supreme Court gave the order that 100% VVPAT, EVM should be attached to VVPAT. Even at that time, we had our own doubts. Because sometime in February 2018, the Chief Election Commissioner, Mr. Jyoti, was then the Chief Election Commissioner of the Gujarat cadre, he issued an instruction that you must count only one booth in an assembly constituency. One booth in an assembly constituency is ridiculous, because in a state like Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, the largest states, there are average about 300 booths per assembly constituency. Counting one will be a ridiculous 0.03%. So we suspected something wrong with that, so we went to the Supreme Court. I was the main petitioner. Towards the end of 2018, somebody else also joined me. And then we made a plea for 30% counting minimum based on statistic experts. Then political parties also joined the picture, led by Chandrababu Naidu. They asked for 50%. Both the cases came before the first bench of the Supreme Court sometime in early 2019. Justice Gogoi was the Chief Justice. And they said, we don't have time now to go into the integrity of the EVM and all this. So, okay, instead of 1, make it 5. It was a kangaroo kind of ruling, abstract ruling. That was not enough. Even that, a request was made that it must be done upfront. The Election Commission said, no, it will be done after the counting is over. So, the whole exercise was a ridiculous exercise. There was no need for to go to the Supreme Court at all, because the mandate for conducting free and fair election to the satisfaction of the voters of the country is the responsibility of the Election Commission of India, Article 324. But for the last 5-6 years, people like us have directly felt that the Election Commission of India is playing foul. Indeed, they are also playing fraud. So they have not been able to resolve the problem. Supreme Court gave an abstract order, and it has no meaning at all. So in the last 5 years, we have gone through the whole exercise again, and in fact, we set up a Citizens Commission on Election to do a scientific exercise in 2020, headed by a former Supreme Court judge, Madan Lokur, consisting of eminent journalists, eminent judges, eminent bureaucrats, academicians, and technical experts, IIT professors. They came out with the report in January 2021, clearly saying this EVM VVPAT system is absolutely unfit for democratic elections. There is no verification system, because it's a machine. EVM is a black box. The voter goes, presses the button. He doesn't know. He just presses the button, sees a light, and hears a beep. The voter has no idea where the vote has been registered. if the vote has been registered, to whom it has been registered, it is no idea. All that happens is a small slip appears for about 7 seconds, drops. Nobody, voters are able to see whether the slip is dropping. It vanishes. Actually, in anticipation of introducing the VVPAT, the conduct of election rules were amended in 2013, Rule 56, saying that in the case of a dispute, in the case of a mismatch between electronic memory and the VVPAT, VVPAT is the real vote. Because India is the only country today where when a voter has 2 votes. When you are pressing the button, there are 2 votes. One is on the electronic memory, one is the slip. Rule says slip is the one. But election commission says we will not count the slips. We will not count the slips. And the excuse they gave to the Supreme Court is that it will take 5 days, 6 days. Absurd. They take 45 to 50 days to conduct the electoral process, and they won't even take 2 days. So, then we, over a period of time, based on our research and study, we found among all the operations of the election, counting is the most critical. Counting is where the final decision is arrived at, and the candidate victory is arrived at, and parliament is formed and government is formed. Now, election commission is willing to take nearly 2 months to conduct the electoral process in 5, 7 stages, 8 stages, whatever stages, but doesn't want to wait for even 2 days. Doesn't matter. It will not take 2 days. It will take not more than 24 hours. Our experience. They could usually use like the bank notes they count. They can bring in machines. All method is possible. They are talking about technology. Can't they bring in counting technology? Can't they improve the quality of the paper? So something very fishy has been going on for the last more than 5-6 years.
Okay. Before I go to the next question on what the specific demands of the petitions have been, I just want to remind our viewers that we have been bringing you critical issues during this election, but this kind of reporting involves risk and it is not possible if we do not have your support. So do subscribe to the News Minute, help us support our journalism. My next question to you, sir, I want to go to the specific demands that the various petitions have made. Now, one demand in your petition is that I, as a voter, cast my vote in the EVM. The VVPAT shows me the slip, but that's not enough. The slip should be physically given to me and I drop it in a box. Why has that demand been made?
Yes, that is where the democracy principles come into play. See, elections are for democracy. It is not for a political party to win, form the government, and enjoy power. No. In a democracy, the voter is a sovereign, the citizen is a sovereign, and election is a transfer of sovereignty. It's a very, 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 very noble exercise. It's not a joke. It's not a festival. It's a very noble, serious exercise. The citizen is transferring her sovereignty to her representative. So that is the process of election. So the voter must know her own knowledge that the voter has been cast as intended. Cast as intended. I wanted to cast my vote to this particular candidate. She must know that that has been done. Then she also must know recorded as cast. She must know herself. It is recorded as cast. And she also must know that it is counted as recorded. These are the democracy principles laid down by the German Constitutional Court in 2009. And German Constitutional Court said, your EVM does not satisfy any of these, so banned. They banned EVM in Germany, and the entire Europe throughout EVM went back.
So to simply say cast as intended is first you vote, to record as casted you are getting the slip, and then the third part.
Yeah, the voter must know. Machine knowing is not. Now what they have done is, EVM has been reduced into a bioscope. Like children, they used to show bioscope, dekho. They have reduced VVPAT into a bioscope. Just see. No, seeing is not enough for 7 seconds. That must be recorded. I must know it is recorded. And I must know it has been counted. It's not available. That's why we said, change the system slightly. At the end of the day, your rule says you want a printer. VVPAT you have complicated. It is a jugaad. Unnecessarily you have complicated. Bring in a simple printer, good quality printer. Let it come to the printer and let it print out in a good quality paper, slightly bigger one, and give it to the voter. Let her take it and put it in a ordinary box, chip-free box, where there is no doubt that is being manipulated. Now the doubt is that you are showing that chip is being dropping and you are committing fraud. They say there are manipulation between these two and you have brought in some manipulation. I do not know. The fundamental principle is every voter, the least educated, the unlettered, must know without any technical support or advice that her vote is cast as intended, recorded as cast, and counted as recorded. Full end-to-end verifiability. That is not available. That's why you ask for this alternative methodology.
Okay. Now, for the second demand in the petitions is that all VVPATs should be counted. As of now, only 5 per assembly constituency is counted. You are demanding that not you, other petitions also are demanding the same. Yes. What is the base of this demand?
That's what the rule says. Section 56 amended rule says, in the event of a dispute, it is a VVPAT, the slip which is the real vote. So as I said, there are 2 votes. One is an electronic memory which is unseeable. I can't see it. Where is a slip? Where I see it. Now you have to count this. Why are you counting that? Why are you refusing to count this? Why are you talking about 1 per assembly constituency? It's utter nonsense. If you count this, good enough. If there is any problem, you cross-verify it with electronic voting machines. The other way around.
But I have a very basic question. Now, the fact is a VVPAT was itself introduced into the electoral system. Then why was this rule made in the first place that only 1 will be counted? Then why have the system? Is it only for usage while disputes are raised? That if somebody says that there is a dispute, then the VVPATs will be counted? What is the purpose of this?
No. It's not the other way around. The rule says in the event of, the dispute is a very rigorous kind of process. Who is going to raise the dispute? How many people can raise the dispute? See, election is not a sort of litigation. Election has to be open to the voter. Even the least educated voter must have the capacity. So don't wait for dispute. You say VVPAT is a real vote. The slip is a real vote. See, let us say expansion. Supreme Court order is very clear in 2013 in Subramania Swamy's case. Voter verifiable paper audit trail. How many? 4 distinct voter verifiable paper audit trail. So both auditing. So it has to be the paper. So that is be counted. If you want to audit it, you cross-verify it with electronic voting. Electronic voting can be done in a jiffy. You just have to press the button, it will come to in front of you. But why are you not counting? This is the real vote, which I have seen. You are showing me, okay? But I have seen it. Why are you not counting the one which I saw?
Okay.
Why are you counting the something which I have not seen, which I cannot see? This is an absurd argument.
So I hope those watching have understood the demand that the EVMs are being counted, but you can't actually see what the EVM has recorded. The VVPAT is something where you can see what has been recorded. So why are all VVPATs not taken into consideration? One of the final demands is about the lens which the VVPAT uses. In fact, one of the petitions say that lens itself should not be there, that people should be able to see that paper trail without that lens. Why is that lens a problem?
No, the lens problem will be solved if the slip is handed over to the voter. Lens problem, you can have any lens. You can have black lens or blue lens. You hand over the slip to the voter, voter takes the slip and puts it in a chip-free box, and you count that. So that problem is solved.
So you are saying that VVPATs have to be counted, and even if that means delaying the process of counting by 1 day or 2 days, it's worth the democratic exercise.
Okay, delay. Talking about delay, this is the most absurd argument. On 16th of March, the elections were announced. Okay, and the counting is going to be completed in June 4th. How many days? Nearly 2.5 months.
Hmm.
You can take 2.5 months to conduct the electoral process of pressing the button and transporting it and storing it. For instance, Tamil Nadu, which is going for elections, poll on 19th, 45 days it will be lying in a strong room. Why can't it? See, it will not take 5-6 days. It will may take 1 or 2 days. Doesn't matter. So what? Let it take 2 days. Take 3 days. Count them so that people are satisfied. Their votes have been counted and the mandate is not stolen. Now there is doubt in the mind of the people that mandate is being stolen.
So one thing that I've noticed as a journalist is that whenever the question of the integrity of the EVM or the VVPAT is raised, the Election Commission has sort of always stonewalled these accusations or questions. They've always said that we have a technical committee which has continuously looked at it. We have lots of experts, that there is nothing. But has there been a lack of transparency from the ECI for many years now?
Yes. At least for the last 6 years, yes.
What was different before that?
6-7 years. Or earlier, at least, if there is a grievance, there used to be an interaction. Since 2018, there was a chief election commissioner called Rawat. He retired because we have been interacting with the election commission. That's what I'm saying. I myself, not myself, my colleagues have been interacting. In 2018 December, he retired. 2018 December. Since then, it is more than 5 years now, Election Commission is hermetically sealed and secluded. They don't want to interact with anybody, whether civil society or political parties or opposition parties. They only will interact with the PMO, Prime Minister's office, as if they are the obedient servants of the Prime Minister's office, and they will only take orders from the Prime Minister's office. Civil society zero, senior civil servants like us. For us, these election commissioners are kids. The present the election commissioners for our seniority, much junior colleagues. No interaction whatsoever. See, people are raising doubts. I am a voter. They don't have to consider me as a civil servant. I am an ordinary voter. I have every right. Can't they at least interact with us? We gave the report to them in 2021, in January, February. And we have been following it up, sending messages, and our constitutional content group collectively have been writing to them. 80-90 people signing letters. Technical experts have been signing letters. Even one day they could call and say, what's your problem? Let us discuss.
So anyway, nothing is going to happen for this election because the court has also just issued
Should happen. Even without the court election. See, actually, as I told earlier, this matter should not have gone to the Supreme Court at all. The Supreme Court is not mandated to conduct free and fair election. And Election Commission has the same status of the Supreme Court. Election Commission has the same status. They enjoy the same status of Supreme Court judges.
So you're saying even now the Election Commission of India can say
they can do it, paper ballot. VVPATs. They can shift to paper ballot.
Or that all VVPATs should be counted.
Yes. Yes. See, them finding, say it will take more days. See, Constitution of India and the Supreme Court judgments are very clearly laid down. Once the election is notified, the entire administrative machinery of the government, central government, state government, public sector undertakings, public sector banks, entire lot, almost the entire Indian Administrative Service officers, almost the entire IPS officers go under the control of the Election Commission. They can draw on this massive strength of people. They are all highly educated people, government servants. They are not just unelected people. They can pick this up in no time. And if they want to count, they can do 100% counting. They can shift to paper ballot also. I have written articles, 2-3 articles recently. Shifting to paper ballot is even easier. Within a week, they can shift to paper ballot. Because the paper ballot boxes are not complicated. They are already being manufactured because panchayat elections are being conducted. And counting is printing of ballot paper takes place in any case after the candidates' names are finalized. And it's very much within control.
But sir, I want to go to the moot question. What is the fear here? Why are we insisting that VVPAT should be counted? Is there fear that elections are getting rigged?
It's not the fear. That is one fear.
Hmm.
Election was being rigged and manipulation is taking place, hacking is taking place. We are not going into that at all. In the Citizens Commission, we did not go into that. This matter came up and the experts said, please let's not talk about hacking. We only talk about the democracy principles. See, basic principles I should know, and it must be counted. The vote that I have cast, I have seen, must be counted. If it is not done, you are doing it behind my back. How can election commission job is to conduct free and fair election? Their job is not to get any party elected. Their job is not to get any leader elected, third time or fourth time. That is not the job of the election commission. Election commission's job is to see that voter is able to cast the vote in the most transparent manner and his mandate is not stolen. But election commission seem to feel that they are existing only for the political parties. They are existing only to bring them to power. That's why the chief election commissioner, in an absurd manner, on the 16th of March, was singing serenade, singing love song to the EVM. What kind of chief election commissioner? I am sorry. I was extremely hurt that day. What kind of man, how did he become into the Indian Administrative Service? He was singing serenade. I mean, how can he be so partisan when there is so much of doubts being expressed in the mind of the people about the integrity of the EVM? Why is he singing love songs to the EVMs?
So, though you are not a politician, politically the BJP has met all this criticism by saying that, look, if we were rigging elections, then we would have won all state elections. We would have won bigger numbers. So this whole complaint that there is some problem with the electoral system is being raised by losers or by people who are not winning elections, which is the opposition political parties. This is what the BJP has been saying.
Absurd argument. It has nothing to do with winning or losing. It is totally absurd. In any case, only a fool rig everything. If you rig 100%, we straight away known that people will be on the street and will be thrown into the gutters. But no fool will rig 100%. No fool will even rig 80%. An intelligent person, which I believe BJP is, rig only 20%. Rigging 20%, 10 to 20% is more than enough to win the election. Who says you have to win? They don't have to win. Why should they rig Karnataka election? They will not rig. They will rig Madhya Pradesh election. They will rig Rajasthan. They will rig somewhere else. See, you have to allow. So that is an absurd argument. Secondly, what they say is only political parties. Now the people have come on the street. Election is not for political parties. I have no stake, but I want my mandate to be carried. I don't want my mandate not to be stolen. So why can't it be? All right, let it be free, frank and fair. Let them, you win, they have no problem. Why are you objecting this? Why? What is your problem in counting these slips? Like the system where you take it to the, give it to the voter, put it. What is your problem? You are the election commission, the servant of the people. What is your problem? Why are you? What is your vested interest in this hackneyed system? Why are you insisting on this? It sounds totally absurd.
So one more quick point that I want to touch upon is the issue of voter suppression. I personally believe that is not talked about enough. We did see it in Karnataka, that there were attempts of voter suppression. Do you think that is also a huge problem in India and we are not paying enough attention to it?
Absolutely right. Thank you, Dhanya, for raising this. Voter suppression is a very, very important issue. And we have seen it personally, this happening. In 2019 election, those days I lived in my hometown, Nagarkoil. 40,000 Christian votes were removed. We fought it out anyway, we tried to sort it out. Then you have seen it, you yourself exposed this Karnataka, what happened before the Karnataka State Assembly election. Now, with the linking of Aadhaar with the voter ID, this has become a very serious issue. Nobody would even know. Earlier at least, you will know. Now, Aadhaar is a weapon election commission has got to manipulate and remove, delete voters at will. at the appropriate time without anyone knowing. This is a very serious matter. We are addressing the issue. We have addressed it in the CC report. The Election Commission says everything is all right and we are doing it, but they have not been able to give a satisfactory explanation. Particularly, it's a very serious matter for the religious minorities, Muslims, Christians, disadvantaged people, homeless people. It is a serious problem. And coupled with EVM fraud, you can steal the mandate of the people. Electoral bond may be a big issue, but I don't consider it as a big issue at all. It's a corruption issue. 7,000 crores is nothing. Last election itself, BJP alone spent about 35,000 crores in the last 2018 election. What is 7,000 crores? It's only money. But here, combination of manipulation of the electoral roll and manipulation of the electoral voting machine is the tragedy of India's electoral system.
For those unaware, Mr. Devasahayam is talking about an investigation that the News Minute had done before the Karnataka Assembly polls, where we tracked down a private agency called Chillume, which was taking down voter details, and we also established they had some links with certain BJP leaders, and we also found that they were perhaps involved in voter suppression. Our investigation led to a huge furor, and the Election Commission of India actually asked for looking at the voter list in 3 constituencies in Karnataka, actually 3 constituencies in Bengaluru. Voter suppression is something that we at the News Minute are particularly interested in. So if you believe that your vote has been taken away from you, please do write to us. These are stories that we are very, very interested to pursue. My final question to you, sir, is that as I said, it does not look like relief is going to come from the Supreme Court as of now. But as citizens of the country who want to ensure that the democratic process of an election goes on smoothly, what can they do now? What can they demand now?
See, the demand was about 2 odd months ago, they demanded to go back to the ballot paper. I have conducted elections with ballot paper. And ballot paper election is the gold standard throughout the world. All genuine democracies have gone to the ballot paper. And that was the demand. And there was agitations, people have come onto the street, and the momentum was building up. Suddenly the electoral bond judgment came, and the State Bank of India played fraud for about a full 1 month to divert the attention, and EVM, by the time the election has been announced. See, the people in general, they have expressed their demand. They won't be able to do much directly. It is they have given this responsibility to the institutions, which has been created at great cost, and they have given vast powers. Election Commission should have done that. If Election Commission is unable to do that, he is deliberate not doing it, the only authority in the country which can discipline the Election Commission is the Supreme Court. Tragedy is that even the Supreme Court is not understanding the issue. I have to say that very clearly, because this writ petition was filed last March, March of 2023, based on the Citizens Commission's report, very well researched writ petition filed by Prashant Bhushan and his team, and writ petition was filed by Jagdeep Choka of the ADR, Association for Democratic Reforms. I did not file. And for the last 1 year, the idea of filing it 1 year before time was to give enough time for Supreme Court. They give notice to the Election Commission. They gave notice to the Election Commission. The Election Commission filed the response more than 6-7 months ago. After that, it is just lying down there. I came into the picture about 2-3 months ago, filing an intervening petition. And I raised one more additional, I just don't mention it at this point before concluding. I raised an additional point in my intervening petition, in addition to the democracy principles. Constitutionally, conducting election through EVM is unconstitutional, because Article 324 says the responsibility of conducting, controlling and supervising the election, control and supervision of election, is that of the Election Commission of India. Under the paper ballot, Election Commission had the full control, full supervision. The whole process is transparent. It was all managed by the Election Commission officials, from the election commissioners to the chief election chief electoral officers, the returning officers, district electoral officers, they had control. Even the manufacture of that box, printing of the ballot papers, everything was controlled by them. Now everything is with the technical people. Two publishing undertakings. God Lord knows who's manufacturing the gadgets. They may be assembling it. And even there, as you know, the Sarma has written, E.A. Sarma a couple of weeks ago, saying that
about BEL.
both the completely, it was entirely controlled by a ministry of the government. Board of directors are all BJP people. What kind of independence are you talking about?
So what he's talking about are the PSUs.
Election Commission has zero control. So an election being conducted by a system which has Election Commission has no control or supervision is unconstitutional.
So what he's mentioning is also a letter by another former bureaucrat, E.A. Sharma, which said that the PSUs, which actually manufacture EVMs, have got many people directly linked to the BJP in their board of directors. Thank you very much, Mr. Devasahayam. So what he...
And finally, you said about Supreme Court, I think the hearing of this case is coming either tomorrow or day after, though it is delayed. Even now, Supreme Court can pull the thing out of the rot it is in, if they really want to. I am told it's coming either tomorrow or day after tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you again, Mr. Devasahayam. So what he's saying is that he's not a politician. He's just a voter who wants to ensure that the democratic process happens in a constitutional manner. Thank you very much for watching. Do join next week for another episode on No Filter. And let me remind you again, for us to speak about things, issues that really matter, we need the support of our readers, of our viewers. So do become a paid subscriber of the News Minute and support our journalism.